All right, everybody, good morning. Hope everyone's doing well. Welcome back. So today is the day. The harvester is here, and it's time to say goodbye to these lambs. This is like the hardest thing for me to do, and I'm kind of disappointed with myself because I was not working on the lambs as much as I wanted to. So now we're gonna have to get these lambs all ready for the processor to go and take care of them and harvest them. And then what happens is he takes the meat to the butcher, and then in a couple weeks we pick up the lambs. But we got to wait for our crew to leave because I don't want them to witness any of this. I don't see any of this. I just halter the lambs and John takes them out, and then that's pretty much it. So let's get this show started. All right, so my job is done. Now I'm just going to go ahead and pray for them, and John's going to take care of the rest. So I'm going to go inside, and because I don't like to witness this part of it. This is like the saddest part, and anytime you have animals and you raise animals for consumption, this is what we do, and this is like the saddest part. So I'm going to give you a garden tour later on, and we'll just go from there after everything's done. All right, see you in a minute. So it is the next day. The lambs are gone, and I was going to give you a garden tour yesterday, but after the lambs left, I just got to working in the garden, and yeah, it is pretty sad when you raise these animals. And from the beginning, I always know that the animals that we raise here, especially the animals, meat animals, I know that they're being raised for consumption. So I try not to get too attached, but it's hard not to because they have such personality and they're just so cute. So yeah, so the farm is pretty quiet except for the two roosters. We still have those two roosters. We did find a home for them though. Our neighbor across the way said that he would take them, and at first I thought he was going to take them to the auction. Then I found out that he wanted to use them to breed them, so that's awesome. So we're not going to, we don't have to worry about losing them because they actually are so sweet. I don't know how long they're going to be sweet for because I've had roosters that turn out to be sweet and then attack you later. So who knows? But at least we found a good home for them, and at least they're just not too far away, about maybe 3-4 acres away. So now that the lambs are gone, what happens now is the processor, he takes it to our butcher. The butcher then ages it and then cuts it into sections and packages it, and then he'll call us to let us know when it's ready to be picked up. Yeah, so now for the garden tour. So a lot has been happening in the garden. I planted a few seeds and a lot of them have been coming up. So let me show you over here in the cucumber patch what's happening. Now I have been still harvesting a ton of cucumber from this patch, which is awesome because I didn't think that it was just going to keep giving me cucumber when the weather is hot. Now the weather is going to be super hot this coming week. I think the highest temperature is supposed to be 106. So that is going to be crazy. I think it starts tomorrow. From tomorrow on, it's supposed to be over 100 every single day. So that's just going to be nuts. And my tomatoes, they're already taking a beating from the heat. And so have these cucumbers. That's why I was shocked that they're still producing. Now the nights have been cooler, about in the 60s. So that's awesome. So let me show you what's happening. So I might be taking some of these cucumbers out soon because the leaves are looking a little rough. Now I have found some slugs in here, and I did find some granules that you can just place around the flower bed and to prevent the slugs from eating the plants. So let's try that and see if that works. But other than that, I haven't sprayed anything on any of the plants. And so far they're doing pretty good. So that's how the cucumbers are doing. Let me show you how the seedlings are doing over here. These are the seedlings that we planted, and look how big they are. I mean, they're already growing so well. Look at that. See that? They're doing so well. They're just growing. I can't wait to see how much they produce. Now those cucumbers, when I planted them, did really well. They produced so many cucumbers, so I cannot wait to see how they're going to do in the cooler weather once we get it, because it's not coming anytime soon. So over here are the zucchini, and I did kind of cut them up yesterday because there were so many leaves that I couldn't even walk through this little area. So I ended up giving it a bit of a trim, and now I can walk around it, and now I could see where all of the zucchini are at. And I did harvest quite a few. Now here is the Roma Tomatoes VF, and they did produce quite a bit. Now I feel that it was my fault. I did overwater them because I was getting used to this new irrigation system, and some of them kind of got a little mushy, like this one. So I know for next time not to overwater, and just to keep an eye. Now it's just, they're all curled up like this because it has been so hot. Yesterday was about 100. The day before that was probably about 100. So it's just been ridiculous. And I know everyone's going through this. I know everyone's having this heat issue. So yeah, the only goal is just to try to stay cool. And unfortunately, we don't have any shade in this area when the sun is beating down on them. And I have thought about putting up some umbrellas, but this is just part of, I guess, having a garden, right? You just have to take it as it goes. So those have been doing really well. I have been, just using these tomatoes to make spaghetti sauce, and I have used it to make salsa as well. And then here I have the these are Botanical Interest, Roma Tomatoes, San Marzanos, and I've been saving the seeds from these tomatoes, and I'm definitely going to use it again next year. And I'm probably going to buy a couple more packages just because they have given me so many Roma tomatoes, and they have not disappointed at all. But next year, I'm definitely going to trellis everything so it doesn't look so wild like a jungle like this. Okay, so in the front of this tomato patch, I had some cucumbers, but I know now not to plant the cucumbers next to the tomatoes because they do need a little bit more water than the tomatoes. So they did not do that well over that location. Now over here, we have some basil. Oh, I need to harvest some of this basil. Look at that. Now I did plant this all from seed, and it is doing so good. Okay, on this side of this garden bed, which you probably just can't even tell because it's just a mess, I have some hybrid slicers by Burpees, and they did do well. I did get quite a few of these tomatoes, but they did split. Now, I found out that the valve was broken on this bed, so it could have just been my fault for overwatering, and that's why the fruit split. So, I don't know. I might try it again next year because the tomatoes were so red and juicy that I feel that if I were to make sure not to overwater them, trellis them, take care of them better, then I think that the tomatoes will not crack, and I'll probably get a really good amount of tomatoes from them. Alright, so here's a better view of the sun gold tomatoes. But they are just growing out of control. So there's still a ton of sun golds, so I'm going to harvest a majority of these today, and then soon, probably about sometime this week, might be taking out some of these plants, because although they have tons of blossom, they're just not producing a lot of fruit because it has just been so hot. Alright, so here we have our lemongrass, and the lemongrass is doing so good. It's growing so big. It's actually grown in size, so that's so exciting. And for now, I could overwinter this and just cut it all down, and in the summertime, in the springtime, it'll grow back. So what I'm going to do is, before the frost comes, which our frost is supposed to arrive on the 15th, once the frost arrives before that, I'm going to harvest a majority of this and just store it and make soups and things like that, whatever I want to make with the lemongrass. Okay, so over here, look at these beautiful peppers. My gosh, the color is so beautiful and so bright, and they're just so healthy. Everything is so healthy. The bell peppers are looking really good. So I'm gonna come in through here today and just look through. Now, I did look at this yesterday, and the bell peppers were not big enough to harvest, but it's crazy how one day can make a huge difference in the size of the vegetable. I don't know what is going on over there. It's like someone racing cars or something. It's so weird. So here we have the banana peppers. Look at that. How awesome. So now I have been using these banana peppers in my stewed tomatoes. So when I make the stewed tomatoes, I just cut some of these, I puree it with the bell peppers and some onion and garlic, and I saute it just a little bit, and then I put it in with my stewed tomatoes. So I cannot wait to see what this is going to taste like, and I'm excited. So over here in this garden bed, this is where we had the watermelon. Now I did have quite a few watermelon. I mean, not a whole bunch, probably about 6 of them. And I don't know, this area just got so overwhelmed with watermelon, the vines, and I'm thinking next year I might trellis it or find a different place to put the watermelon, because although I liked it, it was just hard to get around it to water anything else. So I might change it up a little bit and try something new, just because that was my first year ever growing watermelon, and I don't know, it just didn't do as well as I thought it would do. So, and we did have some cantaloupe, and the cantaloupe did really well also. Now we got quite a few cantaloupe, and we gave some of it away, and oh my god, it's so delicious and juicy. So I'll see if I could show you a video or picture of us cutting some watermelon. The watermelon wasn't as sweet as the cantaloupe, so I don't know if it's my fault, if I overwatered, or if I maybe it was lacking something. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit more research on how to make the watermelon sweeter, and I think maybe I might have overwatered it. A lot of things I overwatered because I was so excited about the irrigation that, yeah, I think I overwatered it. Plus, when the guys were putting in the irrigation, they had to test it out, so some of the garden beds got a little bit more water than they're used to. So maybe that had a little bit to do with it, but either way, next year is going to be different, and the fall garden is going to be completely different. So in this garden bed, I plan on planting some broccoli, and then I have put this little T-post right here because I'm going to get some cattle panel, and I'm going to trellis it over the top. Now, I did have some fencing out in the back field that I brought up, thinking that maybe it might be sturdy enough to use as a trellis, but it's not. I could tell that if I were to, if anything were to grow on it, the center would sink down. And I don't want to put a T-post right in the middle. It kind of defeats the purpose of having what I want it to have, what I want it to look like. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to plant some broccoli, and then over here, this is where the pumpkins are at. And I'm going to plant some cauliflower over here, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put some beans right in this area, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see what that's going to look like to have a little trellis right over here. That's going to be so exciting. So now I have this little flower pot or planter that I'm going to plant some butternut squash, because I thought I planted butternut squash and didn't, and I really like butternut squash for the winter time. So over here we have our pole cherries. Now the pole cherries did so well. They would grow in these beautiful bright red little clusters of cherry tomatoes. I'm probably going to plant these again. These are by botanical interest, and they did really well. So over here are the shimmering hybrids. These did so well. Now some of them turned bright red with these little green stripes, and then some of them stayed this color, kind of a yellow greenish color. So I don't know if it's my fault. I don't know if I overwatered it, or or what happened, why they didn't turn red. But either way, even this color are so sweet. So I'm definitely going to plant these again. I'm probably going to buy a couple more packages of seeds, and I have been saving and collecting these seeds just to try it out to see if I'm going to get some germination from these seeds next year. So I cannot wait. And then I forgot to show you the ginger. The ginger has been growing so well. It has been getting so big. And I don't know, I've been looking at articles, reading articles on when to harvest the ginger, and they said to harvest it when it starts to flower. But look at that. So it is taller than me, and there's just been so many shoots popping up. So I cannot wait to see how big the ginger is. Now let's go off to the small garden. There's so many things happening in the small garden. And I have been thinking that, you know, at first I was thinking, should I use the small garden as a holding area for my plants, for the commercial plants? Should I put, you know, continue to put vegetables in it? And I have decided, I think I'm going to use this little garden bed in the spring, or this little garden, for a cut flower garden. I thought that would be so cute to have some beautiful flowers right at the entrance of the farm or the barn, or you know. But I thought that would be so sweet. It's getting so bright out here. So over here in this little garden, it just looks so sweet with all the zinnias. I have all these voluntary zinnias that just popped up because I did plant a bunch of zinnias in here last year, so they did so well. Now the strawberries, I have this little strawberry patch right here. It just didn't produce that many strawberries at all. So I don't know if it's just not, maybe it just doesn't like the location that it's in, or what, but it just did not do well. Now over here we have our onions right in this area, and these are some red sweet onions that my dad brought me, and I just popped in here. Here is a Thai chili that just kind of self-seeded itself in one of the little, I guess, I don't know what you would call it, spice bed. So over here I have some zucchini, a ton of zucchini still producing. And then over here in this little garden bed, I have some Kermit eggplants that are doing so well. Now this is a Thai eggplant that I harvested some seeds from a little pod like this and popped it in there. And you can use this for stir fry, you can use this in curries, soups, anything like that. And then here are the Kermit eggplant. See that? Look how cool that looks. And this one I use for a Thai green curry. I mean, you could pretty much use it for anything also. Anything you would like eggplant in. Ooh. And so, let's see what else. Oh, so this is the garden bed that I popped in the spinach. And look, we already have some spinach. Do you see that? Look at those. We have quite a few little babies popping up, little seedlings. Another one right there. So, and then I think these are like zinnias, which I'm going to take those out because I don't want that to block any of the sun from these spinach plants, from these seedlings. But look at all these zinnias right here. And then we have a bunch of onions in this garden bed. In the other garden bed we have some onions. And then in the back over here is where I planted some beans. And look how good they're doing. They're doing so well. So now over here we have the Black Beauty zucchini, and it is doing so good. Oh goodness, look at all these zinnias. Doing so good. I have been harvesting quite a few of these Black Beauty zucchinis as well. And they're so meaty and delicious. The flavor is really good. Now on this one, you can't even see it. I have some little peppers. They're just not doing well, and it's probably just because of these zinnias. I did not, you know, I just kind of let them grow wild because it's just, they're so beautiful. So over here in this little garden patch, we have some onions that are doing pretty good. And then we have a little bit of oregano growing in the corner, which is, I've been using that for the spaghetti sauce. We do have some half wine barrels. And now one of the wine barrels, I have some strawberries growing in it, and they are not doing well at all. Just haven't gotten any strawberries. the chickens got into this wine barrel and really took care of that. So I have some edamame here that are not doing well at all. They look really stunted and small. So I don't know if I'm gonna plant edamame again, but they have some bean pods on it, but they're just so tiny. And I don't know if that's how they're supposed to look like, since this is my first year ever growing it. Now right here we have some lemongrass, and it's growing so well. This is my second year. I overwintered it and it came back and it's looking really nice. So over here, this is where I started the basil from seed, and it's doing so well. And then right here in the middle, this is a Thai basil with these little purple pods, these little purple flowers. And I bought this one from the nursery, and it's doing extremely well. This one is a big leaf basil that I started from seed, and so yeah, everything is doing really good. I have this one right here is a Thai chili plant, but the Thai chilies are so tiny, so I wasn't sure if I should pick it now or if I should wait, but they haven't been growing any bigger than this size. They haven't been getting any bigger. So in the back here I have a holy basil, and then did I say mint? And then mint. But that's pretty much it. That's what's happening in the garden. Yeah, that's what's happening on the farm. Everything's growing. The seeds are all popping up, and I am so excited to start the fall garden. I cannot wait to show you what the fall garden is going to look like and what we're going to be planting. I cannot wait to get the trellis up, so all those little things. But I'm just going to do a couple little chores here around the house, maybe blow some leaves, and yeah, and just take it easy before this heat sets in. So thank you for watching, thank you for hanging out, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.